Hello, my name is Desi Devi Vania. Here I will presentation Sempro. The title is The Correlation of Vocabulary Mastery and Students' Writing Skills at 7th grade of SMP Negeri 4 Mata Ciatar. So, the table of content. The first is introduction. There are background of the research questions, the aim of the study, hypothesis, significance of the study, terminology. Chapter 2, Review of Literature. There are vocabulary mastery and writing skill. Chapter 3, Research Methodology. There are research design, relation and sample, technique of data collection, technique of data analysis, and statistical analysis. Chapter 1, Introduction. Research background. Vocabulary is a language aspect which should be mastered by the students to get and understand all English skills, reading, speaking, listening, and writing. Anthony said that all of learners must master much of vocabulary they want to master all skills. In reading, the student will get difficulties in comprehending a text if they do not know the meaning of word in the text. An understanding of vocabulary will aid the students in understanding the meaning of the words in their reading. Similarly, in speaking, they cannot speak fluently if they have only few vocabulary words. By good vocabulary mastery, they can communicate their ideas more fluently with other people. Furthermore, in listening, the students can understand what the speaker says if they know loads of words. When people are listening to English words, they can absolutely understand about the words said by someone if they have adequate vocabulary mastery. In addition, vocabulary is essential in writing. A good writer needs a wide range of vocabulary to strengthen the clarity and accuracy of their writing. Research question. Based on the background of the study, the research questions which guides the research is there any correlation between vocabulary mastery and writing skill in grade 8 of junior high school student? The aim of the study. Based on the formulation of the problem above, the aim of this research is to identify the correlation between vocabulary mastery and writing skill in grade 7 of junior high school student. Hypothesis is A. Alternative hypothesis. There is any significant correlation between students' vocabulary mastery and their writing skill. Null hypothesis. There is no any significant correlation between student vocabulary mastery and their writing skill. Significance of the study. The results of the study are expected to provide a useful contribution to faculty, teacher training and education (UHKBPNP), in particular foreign language teaching practice in the English Department Education. This research is expected to make 7th grades of junior high school more diligent and increase their writing skill by diligently increasing their vocabulary. Terminology. Terminology to avoid misunderstanding. Some important terms used in this writing are explained below. First, correlation. Correlation is the connection between two or more variables or mutual relationship, meaning that a connection consists of two or some variables. In this study, vocabulary mastery is considered as variable X and student writing skill is as variable them. Variable Y. Vocabulary mastery is independent variable while students' writing skill is dependent variable. Second, vocabulary. Vocabulary refers to words as units that are part of grammatical patterns. In that sense, a word could be an element which can stand alone as an utterance. In this research, vocabulary refers to a body of English vocabulary words that were selected based on the level of the student. The selection is the given to students through a vocabulary test. Third, writing. As pointed by Chitrafellow, writing is one of the systems of communication that use visible signs and graphic symbols on paper. In other words, writing is the skill to create and organize ideas, to support those ideas with examples or evidence, and to write in standard written English in response to an assigned topic. In this study, the writer used free writing as a tool to measure student writing skills. Chapter 2, Review of Literature. Vocabulary Mastery. Mastery is defined as a comprehensive knowledge or skill in a particular subject or activity. Hornby, Dosen. Vocabulary mastery is defined as the power to control, command, decide, and rule the vocabulary as an useful and fundamental tool for communication, acquiring knowledge. Mastering vocabulary is not only by remembering its spoken and written form. This may be true for beginners, as Thornbury also emphasizes that in the most basic level, someone is said already knowing a word when he or she knows its form and its meaning. In fact, mastering a word means mastering the aspect of word knowledge. Thornbury summarized that word knowledge includes the meanings, the spoken form, the written form, the grammatical behavior, the word derivation, the collocation of the words, the register of the word, spoken and written, the connection and or associations of the word, and word frequency. The kinds of vocabulary. According to Miller, there are four kinds of vocabulary. First, receptive vocabulary, and second, expressive vocabulary, three, oral vocabulary, four, written vocabulary. Lexical relations. The types of lexical relations which are usually tied to can be briefly defined as follows. First, synonym. Second, antonym. Third, hyponym. Fourth, homoponym. Five, homonym. Writing skills. Writing skill is one of the productive skills that should be mastered in using a language. It is because writing skill has significance in improving the communicative competence of the language. In line with this statement, Brown 2000 define a language competence as one underlying knowledge of system of a language, including its whole of grammar, its vocabulary, and all the pieces of language and how those pieces fit together. The definition of writing are variously stated by some experts. According to Brown, writing is a thinking process. Furthermore, he states that writing can be planned and given with an unlimited number of revisions before its release. Hart and McLeod state that writing is a recursive process, which means students revise throughout the process, frequently moving back and forth among the states. Then, students should learn strategies for interpretation and discovery. Writing process. Langan divides writing process into four types as follows. First, pre-writing. Second, writing a first draft. Third, revising. Five, editing. Fourth, editing. The role of vocabulary in writing. Vocabulary is central to English language teaching because without sufficient vocabulary, students cannot understand others or express their own ideas. Vocabulary in writing is very important. Without vocabulary, nothing can be conveyed. Vocabulary helps students understand and communicate with other English. In addition, vocabulary can be defined as the words of language, including single items and phrases or chunks of several words which convey a particular meaning. Vocabulary is important to students and it is more important than grammar for communication purpose, particularly in the early stage. When students are motivated to learn the basic words, they need to get by in language. There are always something new to learn when students have done the grammar. Rogers stated that more advanced students are motivated to add to their vocabulary stock, to understand nuances of meaning, to become more proficient in their own choice of word and expression. From the explanation above, we can conclude that students should be exposed to the vocabulary, which is intimately related to the environment to become more proficient in choosing and expressing the. Okay, Chapter 3 Research Methodology. Research Design. This research is purely quantitative. The research is designed to collect numerical data that can be used to measure variables. Quantitative data is structured and statistical. Its results are objective and conclusive. It is used a grounded theory method that relies on the data collection that is systematically analyzed. The main purpose of the research is to find out the correlation of two variables. Vocabulary mastery, which is symbolized by X, is as independent variable, and dependent variable is writing skill, which is symbolized by Y. Population and sample. The population of this research was all understand of the 7th grade of SMP Negeri 4 Pematang Siantar. There were one class consisting of 32 students. Gay and Deal states that for correlation, total minimum sample was 30. The writer used random sampling technique. Ely said that random sampling is a method for choosing sample from a population by which every member of population has an equal chance of being selected for the sample. In this research, there were about 32 students involved who have finished their writing and vocabulary tests. Technique of data collection. First test, the test of vocabulary mastery. To determine the student's vocabulary mastery, the writer gave the student a test. The test consists of 20 multiple choice questions, 5 items for synonym questions, 5 items for antonym question, and 10 items for classifying the material of vocabulary. The way of scoring the test was as follows. N is number of correct answer per number of items types times 100. N 20 per 20 times 100, where N is a score. The test of writing skill. To determine the student's writing skill, the writer tests the student with writing a descriptive text or narrative text test. The writer limits the word to 100 words. The way of scoring the writing test was and is following rubric. This is the rubric. This is the scoring rubric for test writing, descriptive or narrative. You can see here. This is the scoring rubric for test writing, descriptive or narrative. Now, technique of that data analysis. In analyzing the data of the study, the person product moment correlation way, use of which formula is. We can see here the technique of data analysis. The note is this is the explanation about this analyzing the data of this study. Now, statistical hypothesis. The statistical hypotheses of this study are symbolized into. Okay, you can also see in here. This is the statistical hypothesis. This is the symbol of statistical hypothesis. You can see here. Okay, thank you. That's all about my presentation. Uh, I hope you can understand about my presentation here about the correlation of vocabulary mastery and student writing skill at 7th grade of SMP Negeri 4 Pematang Siantar. Okay, that's all about my presentation. I am Desi Devi Vania. I say thank you and see you.